Good evening, and welcome to the dining room of the Seaview Hotel, Esher, and to our permanent resident, Miss Myrtle Throgmorton.
Of course, we can't see the sea in Esher, but we're pinning our hopes on global warming. But lovely to see the dining room so full. Richard, dear, could you hush up a little over, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. He's very good. He's what they call a cocktail pianist, which I say very gingerly. But no, it plays havoc with my hearing aid. It makes it whistle, and it's never the right tune. But lovely. Don't they look marvellous? Like a couple of penguins, aren't they? Yes. I wish I could pick up a penguin. I wish I could pick up anyone, to be absolutely honest. But not with these knees. No. Is it penguin or penguin, do you think? I never quite get that right. It's a little bit like that old chestnut of scone and scone, which they say is scone north of the border and scone in the south, I think, don't they? Which means that rock they get so excited about up here is the stone of scone in the south, or the stone of scone in the north. Where exactly am I?
Still the dining room of the Seaview Hotel, Esher.
Oh, right, okay, yes, absolutely. And how lovely to see it so full. I'm hoping to get to know all of you in the course of the evening. Not in the biblical sense, of course. No, there wouldn't be time. But no, perhaps you could tell me something about yourself. Just something that's a bit shy. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you about me. I am Miss Myrtle Throgmorton, OBE, pending. I don't really know exactly what happened to it. I think it's probably got lost in the post. If any of you, by the way, are going to Holyrood for Palace for a garden party or a bring and buy or something like that, anybody going? I thought we might get some in tonight. Or are there any royals in? Sometimes we've had William pop in. No, not tonight. Anyway, if you could inquire, I think Philip's probably popped it in the whatnot drawer with the little rubber bands from the postie and the copies of the Watchtower and all of that sort of thing. He's maybe popped it behind a tall boy, who knows, I don't know. Was I off message again? Was I? Oh, right, thank you, Richard, for keeping me back. I was awarded my gong, or I should have been, for my work with the Surrey Association for Lonely, Misplaced, or Non-Domiciled Scots. It's going to be a longish sort of evening, isn't it? I'll just spell it out for you. Surrey Association for Lonely, Misplaced, or non-domiciled Scots. Yes, we call it Alex for short. Sadly, we've had to disband Salmons because we imploded in June. We lost our core, which is a great pity. But never fear, we'll be back. Or fear, we'll be back. I'm pitching myself. I'm never quite sure. I'm thinking of reforming as the nearly independent Caledonian Old Ladies Association. Yes, Nicola. The difficulty about that, of course, is that it would exclude Major Fogbot and the General, which would be a pity. He isn't really a general, by the way, but his name is Warren Peace, so we just promote him. But it is such a boon and a rarity to have some cocks amongst the broiler chickens, so we like to keep them in there, because I don't think Nicola will happen, no. But anyway, our aim is to promote Scottishness in the shires. I'm sorry, I do tend to spit a little. Did I get you? I wouldn't like to spoil that nice shirt. No, I don't think it'll make you any drier, but you might like to know there's a word for spitting and speaking at the same time. It's sialoquence. So I am very sialoquacious, so just watch out if I happen to get you, okay? Just warn you, you're in my line of fire. Speaking of Scottishness, let's make this look a bit jollier. I like to have something in memory of my father. A little bit of tartans never goes amiss, I think. Here we are, there's a nice little tartan runner. Have we got enough hands for it?
Yes.
Good, there we are. That's much nicer. Yes, isn't that nice? Lovely. Yeah, I like that. What a nice touch. 3 dead flowers. Very dull. We'll find something better than those, I think. Let's see what I've got in my shopper. Oh, here we are. Lovely. 2 little Scotty dogs, isn't that? That one's salt, I think. We'll put him there. And the black one's pepper. Lovely. I like this. Very nice, yes. Oh, they're doing what dogs always do. I don't like that. No, not at all. But I think that's a lot better. This is Royal Stewart, apparently. My kilt is Cameron, I'm told. But the very, very nice man on the Royal Mile in the tartan shop, he tells me that we Throgmortons have a tartan all of our own. Very exclusive. By which I think he means very expensive. But apparently I am one of the last of the Throgmortons of Tannock Bray. Right? Well, yes, or that vintage anyway. One of the Brigadoon branch of the family, which is marvellous, so very exciting. Are you waiting for something, waiter? I think the clue is in the name, isn't it?
Well, perhaps you would like to order something at the Sea View Hotel, Isher?
Oh, of course, yes, thank you so much, yes. Tell me, what have you ordered this evening? Have you eaten? No. No. I tell you what, could you go with me? Because otherwise we're up a blind alley without a paddle. We need a bit of imagination, okay? So what I'm asking you all to do is if you could all pretend that you are all with me in this little dining room in Esher, instead of in a rather hot and overcrowded and stuffy Edinburgh venue. And I am pretending, and you have to have a little bit of stretch of imagination for this, I am pretending that I'm a moderately attractive, if slightly older woman, with oodles of SA. SA? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Yes. Sex appeal. Sex appeal. And if I can do it, you can do it too. There you are. So just try. So back to your imagination. If you could have absolutely anything at all, what would you have, young man? Pate. Pate or starter. Do you want a main course?
Spag bol.
Pate and spag bol. Interesting choice. Yes, but jolly good. What's your name, sir? Martin. Martin, could you all just have the same sort of imagination as Martin and dwell on spate and pag bol? Dear. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see what we have got on the menu today. This has been nicely laid, hasn't it? Lucky table. Yes, there we are. So, we have got jus de pamplemousse. Oh, they're very fancy. They're trying to use up all their French, I think, before we leave the EU. Pamplemousse is pineapple, isn't it? Grape. I'm sorry? Grape. Oh, come in. There's a table. There is a table. Well, you'll be split up. I'm sorry. Do come in. Do come in. Do you want me to start again? No! It's all right. We'll just take your order in a moment. Don't worry. The rest have all ordered, but the kitchen's a bit rushed. Anyway, no, did you say it was grapefruit juice, was it? Yes. Yeah. Grapefruit juice. Oh, I tell you what, with your knowledge of French, those of you who knew that was grapefruit juice, I have been called the formidable Miss Throgmorton. But for you, I will be formidable all evening. Yes. But I won't have grapefruit juice, no. Very acid, and I would be mainlining Gaviscon and Rennies all evening. No, I don't have that. What have we got? Potage du jour. What is the potage du jour? You have to speak to him like that, because English will be his second language.
I'm from Aberdeenshire.
Oh, are you? Yes. Oh, my God, that is my fault. Oh, bully for you. Bully for you. I should say Aberdeen Angus for you, shouldn't I, really? Yes. But, you're avoiding the question. What is the potage du jour?
It's soup of the day.
Oh, soup of the day. How very specific. Yes, I think I will have that. Yes, I'll have soup of the day. Thank you very much. And for my main course, what have we got? Pulled chicken jerky, pulled pork, pulled ham hock. Everything is pulled nowadays, isn't it? Apart from me, clearly, no. In the old days, we would have called that overcooked and stringy, wouldn't we? No, I don't think I'll have any of that. I think I'll have the haggis balls, please, though, like the fish finger, they are an anatomical impossibility. Could you be quick about it? I'm expecting a visitor this evening, and you've been a bit slow taking the order.
Yes, madam.
Thank you very much. Kind. Yes, I'm very excited. I'm expecting the godson of my dear friend, Midriff Bulge, which is very exciting. Her name isn't really Midriff, of course, it's Mildred. It's just that it does tend to stick at my age, I find. And actually, those haggis balls are probably a mistake. Never mind, never mind. Yes, Midriff is very, very disappointed not to be up here with you all this evening. I know, but she has an infection down there, so she couldn't come. I'm so sorry. But, oh, am I off again? What are you playing now? Anybody know what this tune is? Not a clue. We might have to change that 18 shows in, mightn't we? We haven't got it yet. What is it?
Pure imagination.
Yeah, well, you did know. Pure imagination. Mildred. Who's Mildred?
I have no
I
idea.
thought you just called me Mildred. Anyway, from Winky Wonky, that one. Willy Wonky, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I'm obviously off again. I should explain why I live in this little hotel. Well, one, it is very, very cheap, of course, and also I have been thrown out of the sheltered housing complex. It was a little bit of a misunderstanding about a rather rough game of sardines with me and Midriff and Major Foggott, in fact, dear Tom. He's a bit of a card, Tom. The peeping is silent if you... Anyway, they said it was something about nefarious practices and other vicissitudes. I got you again, didn't I? Vicissitudes. Yes, have that. That'll be better for you. Just keep that. Yes. Here's a little poser for you. If anyone finds someone on the fringe using the words nefarious and vicissitudes and indeed loquaciousness in one sentence, do let me know, because it would be nice to know that. Oh, goodness.
Suspension of disbelief.
Oh, yes, Richard, just keep me right. Thank you. Yes, suspension of disbelief, otherwise we'll all have left Isha. That idea was coined by the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It was the one who wrote Kubla Khan and the Rhyme of the Ancient Heckler. Yeah. He was probably chemically enhanced at the time, but no, it's not all tosh and balderdash this evening. No, there's the odd factoid I throw in there. Factoid sounds like something you need a cream for, doesn't it? Anyway, now we've established where we are and who we are, let's have a little chat. I'm going to have a chat to you. What sort of a day have you had?
Slow.
A slow day.
Yeah.
Getting slower? Okay, because we find we slow down. I slow down after a while in this heat. But you've had a good day so far.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. We're lovely to meet. I like your spangly top. That's nice to dress up.
Thanks.
Did you dress up just for me? I dressed up just for you. Maybe. Good. I wish I'd rather dressed up less, actually, I have to say. But, and how about you, dear? What sort of day have you had? Okay, what have you been doing?
Working. Basically, I'm with you.
Oh, well done. Are you wanting something from me? That sounds like a sort of... You want my tights? I think I'll keep them on for now. If that's okay. I'll let you know if I'm going to take them off at any point. I'm going to move this because it's more sit-down than stand-up comedy this evening. But I'll tell you about my day, which I haven't really been working. I started my day at the hospital, at the breast clinic. I went for one of those anagram things, you know. And some of the women here will know what that's like, and actually possibly some of the men too, because it's not exclusive to women. No. Actually, if it's not too presumptuous of me, I think that's one of God's mistakes. I do. He makes me aware of my errors daily, doing this nonsense for a start. But thank you, Richard. No, but I just wonder, why did he give men the tickly bits? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, it smacks of mass production, doesn't it? It's a little bit like the Lindt chocolate bunny. You know, go with me, I've lost you for a moment, but we'll get you back. You know the Lindt chocolate bunny that you get at Easter? You know, in its little gold wrapper and its bell round in its ears and everything. And then at Christmas, it reappears as a reindeer, doesn't it? It's exactly the same. Exactly the same clothes. They just put a different wrapper on it. No. I'm not fooled. No. Foiled again, you might say. Which is my point. That is my point. So, So, I mean, tell me, what do you think about the Lindt chocolate bunny stroke reindeer?
Oh, I haven't stroked the reindeer, but I enjoy them.
But you enjoy them, do you, without stroking them?
Yes.
Yes, I think you're meant to eat them rather
Yes.
than... Good. And how about you and men and the tickly bits? You thought about that?
I think about it all the time.
That's the best answer we've had all the time. Well, it is rather extraordinary, isn't it? The other one that keeps me awake at night is a very, very deep question, this one. Did Adam and Eve have tummy buttons? You can think about that. I've probably lost some of you for the rest of the show now when you think about that. But, no, it's just one of life's mysteries, sorry. Slip of the tongue there. Anyway, there I was for my breast anagram, and it's a very pleasant experience. And as I was going into the squisher, which I think is a technical term to the X-ray machine, it occurred to me that an anagram of a breast is B a star. Isn't that nice? It is. I find that very, very heartening. It's also bar tease and ear stab, which is not quite so good. But not enough E's, Martin, for you young kids. Not the letter E, not tabs, but no, not enough E's for berates, unfortunately. Which is, oh, I've got another little fact for you to think about in case this gets dull. The anagram of schoolmaster is the classroom. Oh, it is. So I can hear the odd brain going, yeah, I think I've got that. If you come up with a better anagram for a breast, rather than be a star before the end of the evening. Do let me know, because I've got a prize. We've only given it away once, I think, in the entire show. So it'd be nice to give it to someone. Someone's probably now not listening at all, and you'll just be thinking about that. But no, I'm going to stick to be a star, because I rather like it, actually. So. Oh, food! Oh, good! Oh, goody! Richard, could we play something a little bit more original than Food Glorious Food? Yummy, yummy, yummy. I've got love in my tummy. That was very good. I enjoyed that a lot. Thank you, Richard. So this is my soup, is it?
Yes.
Yes, it's very thin, isn't it? A sort of consomme.
That's the one.
With a lot of somme and an awful lot of con, by the look of it. Yes. Thank you. Could I have a glass of fizz to wash it down with?
Of course.
Thank you so much. I must take my pills. They've given me one of these marvellous boxes, you know, with the days of the week on it. Absolutely fantastic. As long as you know which day of the week it is. Is it Tuesday?
It's Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
All day.
All day. I think I'll take Saturday and Sunday and make a weekend of it. There we go. Good. This looks very exciting. It's not very exciting or riveting watching an old lady pretend to eat soup, is it? No. I tell you what, Richard, whilst I'm eating this, could you cover the slurping with some music, something?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Lovely. What might you play?
Well, I could play my arrangement of a traditional Scottish fiddle tune called The Flowers of Edinburgh.
Oh, that would be lovely. Did you just have that up your sleeve and off the cuff?
Yeah.
How amazing. That's incredible. Isn't that marvellous? Thank you so much. Yes, off you go. You'll enjoy this. It'll be good. Also to stand on one leg at our age, but I can't remember why. Nanny always says, horses sweat, men perspire, and ladies merely glow. I am glowing like an audience that sat in something a little hotter than the black hole of Calcutta. Sorry, thank you. I think it's probably the menopause. Menopause, I wish I'd ruddy well start. Anyway, cheers. Oh, that's not very nice. What is that?
Vintage fizz.
Vintage fizz?
Yes.
Tastes like cremola foam.
Wow.
Anybody remember cremola foam?
Yes.
Some of you will. It's a bit of a divisive thing. Anybody south of the border know cremola foam? No, you do, and you youngsters won't. Do you know? No. It was, well, you might explain. It was a little tin, wasn't it, of sherbety stuff?
Yes, and it looked white.
Yes.
And then you put the water in it, and it was a really bilious yellow.
Yes, because there's lots and lots of E numbers in it. It made us all very excited.
And except for lemons, it didn't taste of lemon.
No, it didn't taste of anything except for fizz, really, did it? And did you do this? You did this with your fingers. Did you ever lick the lid and then shake it up and then pass it round? Did you do that? There's a very nice lady in the back who, talk about sharing germs. I mean, that's so reckless. You probably went to chicken, did you do that? No. I suppose you went to chickenpox parties as well. We were very wild. Oh, sorry, thank you so much. Yes, thank you for bringing me back there. Yes, I don't know whether you noticed, I did what I call free dance during that. I'm quite subtle about it, but it is important, I think, to keep moving at our age, keep going. I'm not very diligent. My idea of a personal trainer is a well-fitting gym shoe, I have to say. But no, I go to pensioner Pilates, which I quite enjoy. It's a lot of core work, Not that there's any core in my life. A precious little 4, actually. just checking. No, but the thing I really enjoy is swimming. I go swimming every day. I love it. I consider myself something rather good, a bit of a Hannah Smiley or a Rebecca. Oh, it's gone again. Rebecca, anyone remember? Remember paddling pool, was that? Rebecca paddling pool, I think. Yes, I think I could have been one of the greats. Sammy the seal, Eddie the eagle, Myrtle the turtle. The thing I don't enjoy about swimming, though, are the changing rooms. You know, these communal changes, village changing area, whatever the heck that means. No. The other day, I was in the shower and I was standing beside my bank manager. Can you imagine? I'm very lucky to have one because there are not many around. But there he was in a tiny pair of Speedos. I mean, talk about visible assets. No. I'll never be able to look him in the face again. No. That's another one of God's slightly untidy loose ends, I think you could better with. No. Anyway, after swimming, I go to slimming, which is important. I think it used to be splosh and nosh, now it's swim and slim, but there we go. And I go to Chub Club, as midriff calls it, which is very fun and good. They're very nice to me. They've awarded me the title of the biggest loser for the last 2 months. Isn't that amazing? Haven't lost a pound. I have no idea what they're saying, but it's very, very good of them. I find it very windy, though, swimming. It's very, very difficult. No, Richard, I'm still in Asia. No, I haven't gone to Edinburgh. No, I didn't mean Edinburgh windy. No, I meant slimming windy. You know, all that, those rough green vegetables and leafy green vegetables and hummus and all of that sort of thing. It is very, very windy and difficult. And
Your entree, madam.
Oh, thank you so much. How kind. That was very nice.
Would you care for any sauce?
No, thank you. None of your lip either, actually. Thank you. Thank you. Nor yours, no, young man. So these are the haggis balls, are they?
Yes.
They're very white, aren't they?
They're from the rare albino haggis.
The albino haggis.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes. And the little pink one?
Best not to ask.
No, okay, no. They're not very appetizing, actually, to be honest. I think I'll leave those. And being make-believe, they won't repeat on me, which is lucky, because we are doing quite a lot of chat about wind. Actually, speaking of wind, you're probably expecting me now to segue into something about Trump, because that's the way these comedians go, you know, wind and then Trump. But I'm not going to do America. I think there's enough of America around. I think we'll just skip over that. Very eloquent and very offensive, I think, probably, to the Americans. I think you're American, aren't you? Did we offend you then?
No.
Oh, good. That's lucky. Are there any other Americans we managed to offend? No, never mind. We'll tell you what, we'll do Europe, and then we'll just offend everybody. Yes. Are there any continentals in? Anyone from across the water? I meant France, not Fife. No. Oh, jolly good. Marseillaise, just like that. Like Pavlov's dog. I say a country, and you play something. You have some fun with this. Call out a country, preferably a European one, because he's a bit adrift on some of the others, aren't you? Anybody? Any country?
Spain.
Spain, there's Spain, one there. Oh, jolly good, that's quite Spanish. And what was it? Austria. Okay, that's lovely, just like that. Give him a tricky one.
Croatia.
Okay. Anyone else? Got one more. Wales. Really close to home, Richard. Old MacDonald had a farm in Wales, did he? I didn't realise he'd moved. MacDonald would make you think that he was Scottish. He's obviously diversifying into Wales. Heavens, can we try one more and see if we get him another tricky one? Luxembourg. Did you do Luxembourg? None of us have a clue what you're doing.
It's supposed to be Radio Luxembourg.
Sorry, but I like it anyway. I'm going to do Greece. See if you can do Greece. Oh! Right, okay. Very good. Forget cricket or or Brexit. I think we've offended everyone there. Is it Brexit? I'm bricking it for Brexit. There's a slogan for them they can have. No, but speaking of wind, which I was before you blew me off course there, Richard, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, don't they? There's a bit of classics there. I don't know about her darling buds, but she must be very shaken, Mrs. May, don't you think? Very, very shaken. She must wake up every morning and think, good God, am I still Prime Minister? Oh, come away in, do come in. Let's find you a chair. Is anyone sitting on two? There's one. Have you got a chair, dear?
Perfect.
Perfect, lovely, lovely to see you. Good. Shall I start again? No. No, where were we? Mrs. May, and she gets up every morning and she thinks, am I Prime Minister? And then the next thing I think she thinks is, what shall I wear today? Because she's a bit of a clothes horse, isn't she? I loved those humongous tartan pyjamas. Do you remember those? Enormous. We got a pair for midriff. She looked like Rupert Bear gone to seed. I'm not so sure about the tartan, the leather trousers. No, I think leather trousers are, I think it's a bit much, isn't it? You know, very, very squeaky and very impractical. You can't put them in a 30-degree wash, can you? No. I might be maligning her, though, because there could be a little bit of rock chick in her. You didn't know that, did you? No. Her brother is Brian May. He's a Queen guitarist. Yes, no, it's true. I read it on Wikimisleadia. Very handy little website if you're bored of an afternoon. But there's a bit of rock chick in me, actually, I have to say. Yes, I used to be a bit of a hippie, hoppy, gropey, I think I was. Anyway, yes, I had a bit of a thing with Elvis. He's got a nice smile, hasn't he? Are you married? Oh, what a shame. Well, there was a frisson there, but there anyway, I blew it all with a very, very dull affair with Peter Sarsted. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? He wrote that for me. Tragic, isn't it? Absolutely tragic. But there we are. These things happen.
Would you like a dessert? Something from the sweet trolley, perhaps?
Could you not just call it pudding, like everybody else?
Pudding,
Sweet trolley, pudding, lovely, that would be nice. That's another thing that's changed, of course, isn't it? You know, it's all, no more blancmange or instant whip, it's all gone. Oh, another tip. Never, ever Google instant whip. Very, very dodgy website. Now it's all tiramisu and endless yogurts. Oh, wait, another tip for you. Here, get one of these. Get one of these for the yogurt aisle. Marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. When you're overwhelmed with the choice, you can sit and survey those yards and yards and yards of what is really nothing more than bad milk, is it? The other thing these are very good for, I do recommend them, is for the traffic lights here in Edinburgh. I could die waiting for I really could. I mean, I'm going to die waiting for a man anyway, green or otherwise, but these are very good. You can just sit here and just wait.
Would you like a dessert?
Oh, sorry, yes, of course. Could you get me something a little bit retro? How about some pineapple trunks? Can you do pineapple trunks?
Yes.
Good, lovely. I didn't know we'd have those. Yes, I met the man from Del Monte once. He said no. Several times. No, anyway, no. Oh, it's a bit embarrassing. I find all that imaginary soup and granola foams just got straight through. Would you mind? I'm just going to nip to the lab, actually, just to spend a penny. I won't be long. Oh, no, sorry, it's just... Oh, sorry.
I want to sing in opera. I've got that kind of voice. I'd always sing in opera if I could have my choice. so tired of these comedy songs. I want to sing something divine. I'm sure and I'm certain to shine as a star in the opera line. I simply love Wagner, Mozart, Puccini. Their music touches my soul. So I mean to change my name, Colin, to Colline, and see if I can't get a role. I want to sing in opera. I've got that kind of voice. I'd always sing in opera if I could have my choice. Signor Pavarotti told me give it a shotty. That's why I want to sing in opera, sing in opera. I want to play Figaro, it's simply the part every baritone's longing to sing. Since my youthful looks are hampering any role of priest, father, or king. I'm tall and imposing, and yes, I can dance, qualities befitting a king. But casting directors don't take that chance. I sit waiting for my phone to ring. I want to sing in opera. I've got that kind of voice. I'd always sing in opera if I could have my choice. Signor Carreras told me I could be world class. That's why I want to sing in opera, sing in opera.
Singing waiter, how very original. Not. No, but very good. Well done, you, well done, Richard, too. That was lovely. But of course, now you have completely upended the suspension. What is the opposite of suspended? I think it's let down. The audience have been let down, Colin. Yes, what a shame. There they were, in Isha, in my little restaurant, just in the palm of my hand, and I've been blown apart by a couple of penguins. And we are back in the Fringe, which is apparently a young person's game and very rock and roll. So the most exciting thing I've had up my nose is a Vicks nasal spray.
Myrtle, just a little.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Something.
I do beg your pardon. Goodness, no. That's another hard and soft. Not Brexit, we've done that. No, but lavatory paper. Do you remember, that some of you won't remember this, but some of you might, you certainly won't. There was a time when lavatory paper was hard. Do you remember that? It was like greaseproof paper. It was very, very good for tracing maps, and absolutely useless for the job for which it was intended, really, no, so to speak. No, and then of course the soft one came in, and it was all quilted and super soft, and oodles of puppies everywhere. No, jolly. This one was Andrex, I remember that one. Anybody remember what the hard one was called? Isel. But you couldn't say Isel now, could you? No, you couldn't because of Daesh and ISIS and all the stuff in them. You couldn't, no. They had to kill off the dog in Downton Abbey. That was called ISIS. And it had to be killed off because it's... No, the Daesh didn't do that. No, that was the BBC. Otherwise, that would have been a horrific international incident. No. No. It all moves very quickly, I find, with these acronyms. I have difficulty keeping up. They use them at the bottom of your WhatsApp and twerking and things, don't you? Yes. What was the one you gave me the other day?
YOLO.
Oh, YOLO, yes. You only live once, apparently. Not if I've got anything to do with it, no. But there was another one, FOMO, fear of missing out, I'm told. Yes, you put that on your letter. Omo, in our day, was a washing powder, wasn't it? Do you remember? And the housewives used to put a box up in the window, and it'd be old man out, Omo. And it was to tell, it was to tell the postie or the milkman that the old man was out and they could slip in the back door. We had a man in the other day who knew that. His wife was horrified, wasn't it? I didn't think he was a postie, but he did know about it. I used to try. Never worked. I haven't got an old man, but no, never worked for me. But no. Now the one I really miss actually, that was lovely, and I'm sorry it's gone, is Swalk. Do Do you remember SWARP? What does SWARP stand for?
Sealed with a loving kiss.
Sealed with a loving. Wasn't that exciting? It was, to get a letter with SWARP written on the envelope. I had one once, I did, yes. It was from my father, but it was very, very exciting, I have to say. But, an envelope, boys, is a pocket, a letter. And a letter is you write with a pen and pen. No. It is all just going very, very quickly, unfortunately. And the thing I find most flummoxing is who do you kiss on the bottom? Lost you again. You know when you've got an email or a letter, and there's always that ubiquitous little X on the bottom from everybody. Absolutely extraordinary. I mean, we never kissed anybody. We never kissed our relations. I hardly ever kissed my mother, but she had a very strong moustache, so that was understandable. But now everybody puts an X on the bottom. Even the bank man in his Speedos, he puts a little X on the bottom of his email. Absolutely extraordinary. Oh, what's it? Oh, is it coffee? Oh, how exciting! It's time for coffee, and that means it's time for my very, very, very special guest. Sorry, I think I said it was a relation of midriff bulges. I've noted bulges. I don't know whether he is or not. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Alexander McCall-Smith? We've got red bush tea or Madeira?
Madeira.
Not a red bush tea man.
Well, no, I do like red bush tea.
But
and if you hadn't had Madeira, I would have taken red bush tea.
We
Madeira is what I like.
We thought the red bush tea would be fitting and
very
appropriate.
fitting.
No,
It's wonderful.
there we are.
Thank you.
Lovely. I'm so glad we guests have Madeira. They don't
Thank
do
you.
it. Thank you so much for coming. Now, you are going
Are these pills yours or mine?
Well, you can have those. Quite exciting. This is what they do for us. Cheers. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You are going to be a very difficult person to interview because there is so much to talk about. And the first thing I was going to ask you, I have difficulty remembering who I am a lot of the time.
Yes.
And you have, in all your books, such an amazing cast of characters. Do you have a system that you keep them all in your head? Or you
No, I don't. I'm aware of the difference between the characters, but I don't have much of a system. And every so often, not very often, but occasionally, I will get the characters mixed up. And there was one occasion in which I had Mara Matsui in a manuscript of the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series, talking like one of my Edinburgh characters, Isabel Dalhousie. She started going on in Isabel Dalhousie terms. And my editor in New York phoned me up and said, I think you've switched characters. And he was right.
Oh,
but it doesn't happen very often.
No, because they are, obviously they're going to have a particular setting, but they all have a particular way of speaking. They're not ones that almost, you know, Isabel Dalhousie isn't a bit like Mara.
Well, she is in a sense. I mean, one of the problems about creating Mara Matsui is that many people feel that she then appears in my other books, and indeed, I'm accused of being Mara Matsui underneath as well. People like she said, Mara Matsui is you, or Isabel Dalhousie is you. That happens to authors.
Yes.
People say that they are their characters. Now, it is the case that I agree with Mara Matsui on virtually everything. Fortunately, yes. And I also agree with Isabel Dalhousie.
Yes.
So I don't know what's happening there. It's possible that I'm actually putting thoughts into their mind.
Yes,
That's
I can
one
understand how that
interpretation.
might happen. Yes. There is quite a very strong moral theme in all your books, really.
Well,
There's a morality to it.
yes, there is. I mean, obviously Isabel Dalhousie is a moral philosopher, and she's therefore concerned with moral issues. She doesn't necessarily get these issues right. Whereas Mara Matsui has a very simple, basic, well, I wouldn't call it simple, but a very strong faith in traditional Botswana values.
Yes.
And I think she gets it right. Whereas Isabel is a professional philosopher, so she cogitates rather a lot and can in fact get the wrong end of the stick.
I love Mara Matsui's optimism. She's always very upbeat,
Yes.
I think, which is really nice in this day and age.
Yes, she is. She's the sort of person that one would like to sit down and have a cup of tea with.
Yes, yes.
She's
or indeed you, a glass of Madeira.
Oh, a glass of Madeira. Well, no, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't have Madeira.
Drink.
Isabel Dalhousie, Mara Matsui drinks red bush tea, which you have there. Isabel Dalhousie drinks New Zealand white wine, and every so often I get a letter from New Zealand white wine producers and thanking me for this.
I would rather have a case of white wine, actually. You might as well get something worthwhile. Yeah. And I mean, the Housley books and Scotland Street are written episodically, like Dickens. I mean, you put them in the paper first.
Yes, well, no, not that I don't do that with the Isabel Housley books. I do that with Scotland Street. Scotland Street is a genuine serial novel. In that I write a chapter a day when it appears in the Scotsman, as it does every year for the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yes, it started when I was in California. I was at a party which was being held by Amy Tam, the novelist, just outside San Francisco. And one of the guests was Armistead Moper, who wrote the Tales of the City. And I was talking to him, and I said that I really enjoyed Tales of the City, and he said, never write a serial novel in a newspaper. And I came back to Scotland, and that's what I did. And I started off writing Scotland Street in the Scotsman newspaper, thinking that it would just be a single volume. But now we're volume 12.
Yes.
Yes, it's the longest running serial novel in the world now. And, I enjoy it very much indeed, because I can write about anything and go off at tangents. One of my favourite characters is Bertie.
Yes, I like Bertie.
He's a very nice little boy.
And he got expelled from nursery school, so we have something in common.
He was expelled?
And I got expelled from the sheltered housing, so
yes,
they're
yes.
quite fun, you know.
Yes,
close.
poor little Bertie. His problem is his mother.
Yes.
In fact, if you ask most 6-year-old boys what their problem is, they'll sort of shift their feet a bit, and then they'll say, well, mummy is the problem.
Yeah.
Pushy mother. We have a very serious problem in Edinburgh of excessively pushy mothers.
Oh, it's not.
It's the worst place in Scotland.
How do you spot them?
Well, very easy. Very easily. I mean, they have a certain look to them, and you develop a sort of radar about this. And the Scottish government is aware of the problem, but
It's probably finding funding to do away with them or whatever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Yes. So, I mean, Scotland Street, the characters are they're based on Edinburgh folk, aren't they?
Well, yes, not specifically, and that you won't find that there's somebody who's Irene. There are lots of women, mothers like Irene.
She's an amalgam.
She's an amalgam. I do put real people into the books, so I will put in real people travelling under their own names into the book. So even you could find yourself Myrtle in one of these books under one of the names you use, and so I do put them in, and so there are various people living in Edinburgh who appear in my books as themselves.
And do people, these pushy mothers, and the other, are they pushing themselves forward to be in your books?
No, the pushy mothers don't. The pushy mothers are worried that they'll appear.
Yes.
In fact, after I created Irene, one mother came up to me, and she was obviously very anxious. And she said, I'm not Irene, I'm not the model for Irene, am I? And I reassured her, I said, no, you aren't. But then I thought she probably wasn't.
Well, I hope she's not here tonight, because that would be a bit of a discovery.
I put public figures in from time to time. I put Tam Diel, you remember Tam Diel? He was in. I had a scene where Tam Diel goes to Valbona and Crowland, which is a wonderful delicatessen we have. Would you go to Valbona and Crowland?
I have been in there once or twice.
Yes,
It's lovely.
Most of the shelves are probably a bit too high for you.
Yes, I usually find a full man, but I do that in any shop.
And your stick.
Yes, full.
Yeah. But Bertie went to Valbona and Crowland with his mother. He was on his way to psychotherapy. But he was punishing his mother because he didn't feel he needed to go to psychotherapy. And he was sitting there in the cafe, Valbona and Crowland, and he saw this figure over this man sitting at a table at the other side of the room. He said, "Mummy, who's that? I wonder who that is." And I'd seen his photograph in the paper, and Irene said, "That Bertie is Tam Diel, and he's a very well-known politician." And Bertie said, "Could I go over and have a word with him?" And Irene said, "Yes, you go and talk to Tam." So he went over and had this conversation with Tam, went back to the table, and Irene said to him, "Well, Bertie, what did you ask Mr. Diel?" And Bertie said, "I asked him the answer to the West Lothian question." And Irene said, and did he tell you, Bertie? And Bertie said, "Yes, but I'm not telling you."
Excellent side by there. That's marvellous. The thing that is extraordinary is you are so prolific. I mean, are you very, very disciplined if you start your day and write?
Well, you have to be. I mean, I write about 5 books a year, and which is breaking all known rules
Absolutely.
Of publishing. So you have to be. So I have certain periods of the year where I write a particular book in a series. So the Mara monthly book, I have to finish that by May of each year. It appears in the autumn. So I start that usually in January and finish that in May. And at the same time, I'll be writing Scotland Street, and that's appearing in the paper as I write it, which of course means that I don't have the device which is available to most authors of being able to change things before you publish the book.
Yes.
Write the book, and then if you decide, well, if you decide you don't like one of the characters, you can just edit it and take it out. But I can't because it's already been published.
Yes.
So my characters just disappear occasionally from time to time. Somebody says, "Anybody seen so and so?" No, where gone? And so that's in soap operas they use a similar device. Australian soap operas, they send the characters to Brisbane.
Yes.
We're so and so, gone to Brisbane. That's it.
So is there a place where you send your Scotland Street characters?
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. That's very fair. You're not from Aberdeen, are you? Yes. Saved by the bill, as they say. Have you got Asian Schrappens on you?
What I do have is I've got a present for you, Myrtle.
Oh, I've got one
I don't
for
know
you.
what sort. Oh, excellent.
Well, shall I get you mine now?
Well, then I'll
show you mine and you show
determine
me
the
yours.
nature of my present.
Yes.
I'll determine my present.
Oh, I see. Mine isn't very generous.
Oh, well, then you won't get much from me.
Oh. I know what mine is. Mine is, here it is, it's a spurtle.
A spurtle?
A spurtle. Now, you'll know what a spurtle
Oh.
is, of course, but some of these people won't. It's a wooden spoon without the spoon, basically. It's a stick. That's all it is, for stirring your porridge. But it's a spurtle from Myrtle, so it's very, very
No,
special.
that's a wonderful spurtle, Myrtle. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
or sell it on Baywatch or something.
No, I don't. I have porridge every morning. And
Marvellous,
so
would use your spurtle.
I'm getting your present out. Not all of these
I
are
was
for
gonna say.
you, but there are.
It's a hybrid.
No, you see.
The bottom has been a tiny little something.
There we are. Now, what I'll do is I'll give you a copy of the latest Scotland Street book, which is A Time of Love and Tartar.
Oh, how
And that
marvellous!
has just appeared, or is about to appear.
Oh, that's just-
an advance copy.
That's
And then
the story of my life. A time of no love and tartar.
well,
No love. What a shame. Thank you so much. That's just I'm going to ask you to write it.
and I've signed it.
Oh,
but if you
lovely,
want me
good. I haven't
to
signed
write
this
something
Bible.
further.
Yeah,
No.
no.
And then this is a book called Fatty O'Leary's Dinner Party, which I think you might
Oh, well,
enjoy.
actually,
Which is
yes. The fatty, yes, okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, that's very nice. Yeah.
And then these books here, I would like you to give to members of the audience.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
I couldn't bring a book for everybody, but I brought a book for some. Now this puts you in a very, very difficult spot. You have to decide which members of the audience are meritorious.
Well, that's
And,
very tricky.
So I leave that up to you. Now these must be allocated, please, Myrtle, on the basis of moral merit.
Right. Okay. Boy, yeah. We'll just do the ending, which I might have to rush through.
Yes. Well, what
And
are you
then-
going to do about these?
Well, can I do those after I've done the little ending? Or do you
Oh
want
yes,
me to do it now?
no, but don't let them get out before you go.
Yeah, keep them here and we'll decide who's getting. Martin's getting one for his imagination.
Oh, Martin, yes.
This lady here knows where to go. Right, I better quickly rush through. We usually end with a. Have I got time to do my little ending? I have. Okay, good. Basically, we have come very sadly to the end of this show, the finale, as they call it. And we started with an amuse-bouche, and I do hope your bouches have been somewhat amused. We're going to finish with a digestif, something to settle your stomachs. I don't know whether you've realised, but I, as Mr. McCall-Smith, very keen on things Scottish, and the person who sits at the pinnacle of my Scottishness is one Rabbi Burns. I've got one in here. I'm sorry, you get what I call my London derriere when I hunt around. Here he is. Here he is. There we are. Rabbi Burns. Why do I love thee, Rabbi? Let me count the ways. Nanny always said you can mix your drinks, but never mix your bards. But the reason why I love him is because he had a very wandering eye. He was one of the ones for the ladies. And I imagine, had I lived in 1700 and diddly squat, his eye might just have fallen upon me. It's just one of those tragedies of near misses, really, just 3 centuries out. He wrote some marvellous tunes. This one is My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose, which he wrote for Agnes Pantyhose. McElhose, was it? But it should have been me, that's the point. So tonight we're just going to finish very briefly with a song not by Burns, but one I sing at Burns' suppers. I'm occasionally asked to give the reply on behalf of the lasses, which is ridiculous, because I've never been a lass in my puff, but the idea is you mock the opposite sex. I don't do that, because somewhere out there is my Mr. Right. It's like water divining this. No, not a nibble, not a nibble. We'll just do this very quickly through, and then you're going to have to come and audition for your moral, your rectitude, whatever. Right, let's hit it.
3, 4.
All single ladies, 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 put your hands up. I'm not in the car, just for a car, in my own little baby. Wanted to get with my own truth, there's another brother over this. I'm up on him, don't pay him any attention. I cried my tears for 3 long years, so don't get mad at me. If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. Don't get mad cause you see that she wants it. If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. Oh, oh, oh. If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. Don't get mad cause you see that she wants it. If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. Oh, oh, and that's it.
To my team, to Kieran and Mary over there. My extraordinary staff and generous staff, thank you very much. Talking of a star, has anyone come out with an anagram? Anyone got an anagram?
Be a star.
Be a star. Well done. We'll give you a prize for that, maybe, on the way out. And could I just say thank you to you? You have, my audience, what I call a gladsome mind, like the hymn, you know. Let us with a gladsome mind. I can't get the top notes because I'm a tenor lady now, but some of you are glad you came. Some of you rather wish you hadn't. All of you are very glad it's over. Thank you. Am I? Who's morally sound over here then? The man I spat at, he's probably morally sound. The novel habits of happiness, there we are. Oh, we got friends, lovers, chocolate. And you had your hand up, so there you go. Got one more. Oh, there we are, Bertie Project. And this man with no imagination at all. Be a star. Slot, which is an awful experiment, and we now all have to go. Ready?